Hi there, it's Kaizen, and I want to set this record straight. I am nobody's father or mother, okay? As well as the fact that I'm not a Sentinels hater either. I had them winning Masters Madrid in my pick'ems. However, I think they kinda stole Sunset from Loud. I will acknowledge it was a crazy close game that could have gone either way. So let's play a game. If you remove the scoreline and ask anyone who won this game, who do you think people will say? The team with negative 18 KD, or a group that went plus 18 with 4 more first bloods and won both pistol rounds? Be honest here. But hey, maybe that's just a testament to the boys in red and their amazing post-plant clutches. If it happens once or twice, then it's luck. But anything more than that, then you might just have to chalk it up to skill. We'll get into Sen versus Loud, as well as Paper Rex versus Gen G soon. But I just want to let you guys know that Riot came out with a new teaser for the next agent. So based on this image, it seems like the Valorant protocol is setting up some kind of Dungeons and Dragon activity as a botting process to welcome in Clove into their ranks. Nonetheless, one of the things that's interesting is that on the tablet there's an image of an abandoned area with the search bar reading Urbex, which is short for urban exploration. Maybe this could be a clue for the next map, which was teased as Bastion in the Battle Pass. Or it could be a hobby that Clove likes to do. On a different monitor, we see that Clove has been searching up zombie related things, as well as the record for the oldest human being. We know that Agent 25 will be able to revive, so maybe they've been doing this for years in the past. Possibly maybe the oldest agent on the protocol now. We also see a blobfish similar to the one that Tens had during America's kickoff event in the back too, as well as some D&D dices. And a note with butterflies on them too. I want to say this is the same Radivore we saw in the previous teaser, but I'm not 100% sure. You guys let me know down below what you might think it is, and if you think it's paired with Clove. It's also been reported that Icy has reached a verbal agreement with G2 Esports to play with their VCT team in the Americas. Basically, he will be replacing Net. Only time will tell if they made the right choice. With that out the way, let's get into day 1 of Masters Madrid's playoff. I want to start things off with saying that Meteor became the first visiting pro to reach Radiant in EU, which means he's been grinding his butt off while out of practice too. Karen isn't too far behind either with these crazy pub stomps. I remember Boaster saying in the past, like around Champs 2023, or maybe a little bit after, that he felt like Fnatic wasn't grinding as hard in rank as they did in the previous tournaments. So maybe there's some kind of correlation between there, because Meteor has been looking amazing, especially on this Lotus match that we'll get into later. These stats that you're about to see were provided by Wellminder and rib.gg. So before Gen G and Paper X faced off, we can tell that Gen G was beating them in all categories except for pistols. Also, the wild thing here is that Texture has been looking a lot better on Jet than Ilya too. This is also the same Texture who was on GE and was playing KJ, mainly because he would bottom frag as Jet. Just a testament that the right fit, environment, and coaching can seriously change a player's performance. And I think at this point, Gen G might be one of the few Pacific teams Paper X feels like that can aim better than them. Split basically started out in favor of Gen G. We know that this team can be really solid with their fundamentals, and at the start of this match, Gen G got to dictate their playstyle, basically looking like the perfect team while having excellent executes like here.
Last round, I don't know if you caught it in the replay, Tom, but a fist bump into a high five. Let's see how many high fives there are for Gen G after this one. They've got a lot of space, but that flash was perfect. Forsaken, but they certainly have now at heavy cost. Smokes are down, but so too are the majority of Paper X players. So many tough angles, tight angles to clear with this op in hand. And no idea there's a player up top. He's checking the right angle. What a shot! But Lakia was close by.
It was shocking how tame and normal the game felt in the beginning, because Paper X has been known for their chaotic playstyle. You can tell that this Korean team did a good job at just shutting down possible hero plays from Paper X early on. Round 11 is what I would call the battle of mid, when things kind of started to shift a little bit.
13 for us, well 13 to you. An opportunity here at least to shut down the first and the second. Magnet as well, Rockets on point. And with Lakia down, it's Karen to try to challenge, and he got an opportunity, but it was shut down eventually by something with only one.
As you saw, both teams really embraced that Moon Knight meme and threw the kitchen sink at each other to take space. Paper X were able to rally back from this and started to look like themselves. The very next round, we got Heroics from The Vive, where the smart option typically would be to wait for your teammates to do a retake together, especially since there's 3 other Gen G players on site, and you're by yourself, right? However, The Vive was able to catch Gen G lacking, which created enough confusion for his teammates to come in and help clean up the round.
There's his 13. Bike drop. An opportunity indeed with that spike down, 15 seconds left. It's time for Gen G to get a move on. Munchkin has to step out from that corner and he's being caught. They need to dive on that spike and get it planted, but Paper Rex are in their way.
Both these teams had amazing rounds and used tech that I haven't seen in this tournament so far. Like how something updrafted here to peek over Viper's wall, and Forsaken was most likely able to get a kill by looking at his minimap because of it. However, it wasn't enough. Gen G were able to just make Paper Rex play to their style of Valorant early on, and the deficit was too great for them to overcome. And when Lakia of all people is top fragging, you kinda just have to say it's Gen G over. They were able to win despite losing both pistols to Paper Rex, which is another impressive feat. On Lotus, you can tell that these teams were very familiar with each other, and we can tell this by the very first round, where in the beginning Paper Rex were working both sites, but then were able to get a first blood onto Lakia around B site. And almost instantly, both teams just ran to A. Gen G didn't even take into account of the possibility that Paper Rex could still be defaulting. And if you look here, Meteor instantly left C site before Lakia ever went down. It was as if they knew Paper Rex wasn't the type of team to work the clock, like how Sentinels do so often on Lotus. I believe this is one of the reasons why they were able to jump to a 7-1 lead. They were just so familiar with each other and their habits. And when we include this knife that Charon was able to get, it just felt like Gen G could do whatever Paper Rex was able to do, but just better. I am still kind of worried about Gen G heading into their match against Sentinels though. Even though they were able to outclass Paper Rex for the majority of both games, there were a lot of times where players would just overextend themselves, and it was a lot more than usual. I think Sentinels can punish them for that, despite Gen G having a good chance at beating them since they're pretty good on Breeze and Ascent, as long as they ban Split that is. Which is something that Loud did not do. I've said this in the past before and I guess I'll say it again. I'm no expert, but just a fan of the sport and I like to make videos on Valorant related things. I can't really explain why Sentinels are so good on Split, but my eyes do not deceive me. They are very dangerous here. I do have to mention that Loud weren't running any Sentinel agents. There were a few times they got punished because of it. But when watching Sentinels here, you can tell that they were way too comfortable. These individuals just know the map like it's the back of their hand. The mid-round calling is great, utility usage comes in clutch, and their star players perform great here too. Shoot, even Zelsis went crazy on Split as Viper. I might do a deep dive on what makes Sentinels so great on this map in the future, but I think when or even if they lose here, it will either be because the other team played perfect Valorant or Sentinels themselves were asleep at the wheel. If I was allowed, I would just ban Split and run a standard comp on a Lotus. It could be similar to the ones that they ran last year. Yeah, QCK wasn't with them back then, but they've been winning games in the past with him not doing so hot anyways. Shoot, he's actually been looking quite dangerous with this team now. They can beat Sentinels on Breeze, and I also don't think Sentinels are all that confident on Ascent as they are with other maps too. I would still prefer to see QCK on Phoenix rather than Yoru when playing Ascent, but this is just an opinion as a fan of Valorant esports who likes to make these types of videos. After a blowout on Split, Icebox and Sunset were the true definition of a 50-50 game. Loud were making a lot of mistakes I usually don't see from them. Maybe it was because of the pressure of facing a team that you know can be just as good as you. I mean, there is a reason why on this channel we call John QT, John Quentin Tarantino.
Tacting, spots it. That's now going to be dropping. Orb propped up. Does John choose to play it? Here's those shots. Spots it out on the right click business. This one up, mosh pit into the back now. This time Sen fighting Tooth and Nail. But you're up against Cowards in John QT. Where's he pulled that one from? Out of nowhere! On top of the ropes, the pit has been earned. 88 health to his name, he just needs to survive. Spray down, and he's already hunting them down. Less. With him toppling, Ace on the cars, the crowd wants it, the people are chanting.
Tell me that's not cinematic. Icebox in general was a chaotic match. Like, what would you guys call the opposite of plot armor? I'm just asking because whatever it is, Saucy was definitely bathed in it. Man was beyond unlucky today. And I was also kind of surprised to see that Tens went -9 here as well, because watching this game, he was hitting impressive shots.
Timing! No way! As Lesser finds it. And the gamble, the wrap around here of Tens has to pay off. It has to pay off massively. It's not going to be planted out wide. Less does even acknowledge it. The reload is heard here. Close. Quarters again. Cuts it up into the angle. 1 versus 1, but it really should never have been here. In the first place, Knife tags it. Knows the rock positioning as the wall fades.
And since I praised Sentinels for their mid-round calling on Split, I have to do the same for Loud on Icebox. Sadak was pulling off master classes after master classes. And on round 18, we could tell that they were truly freestyling here. They started things off by using Cage's ultimate ability on A site as a fake, but it seemed like Sentinels kinda knew what was going on and rotated properly to intercept Loud on B site. However, the madman himself, Sadak, pushed all the way into A and noticed that the price was free and called his team back, where they eventually won it out.
This is real chaos and pandemonium being strewn into the round. You don't expect this. Patience played all the way through. Thrash out wide.
Very difficult from Sentinel's perspective for them to get any kind of foothold in a round like this one.
Also, do you guys think this gap in Harbor's wall was planned for the bomb or just a happy accident? Overall, both Loud and Sentinel's icebox were pretty evenly matched. It was cool to see Wingman clutch things up though. But the Wingman shenanigans don't stop there. On round 8 of Sunset, Sassy was able to pull off this 1v3 strictly because of Little Bro. Loud was not expecting him to be in their spawn because they thought Sassy was still planting on site.
Loud is so grouped. They're gonna make mistakes. They don't think he's there on the angle in time. He's caught himself into the 1 versus 2. Oh, slow line here for Sadak, but he doesn't really find the time to use it. The dart reveals, or Sassy have to pull off an absolute miracle. 5 HP drop down, backing away. Now wide and sprayed them through.
Gecko is like the only agent that could pull something like this off. And as I mentioned in the beginning, Loud did win both pistols on this map and still lost in the overtime. Mainly thanks to Sentinels having ridiculous post-plant saves. There were times it felt like Loud let the pressure get to them, but we do have to give props to Sentinels because I'm sure they were feeling the same type of burden that each round brought as well. Part of that was because John QT was truly a difference maker. He was the only player on Sentinels that have a positive KD for the whole series. And add to the fact that he was juggling play calling as well as clicking heads, definitely kind of earns him MVP of this series, in my opinion. I was also impressed by QCK's fragging during the series too. You can tell that he's getting better and better after each match. Man had the highest first kill to first death ratio with +7. His raise was a little bit shaky, but it was going against Sentinel's defense on split, so you can't really blame him too much there. His Jet and Phoenix really helped keep Loud in both of these games. If this keeps up, I can definitely see Loud make a lower bracket run back to the grand finals. But you guys let me know what you think. Do they have a chance of beating Paper X tomorrow? And who do you have winning against Sentinels versus Gen G? I can easily see there being a 3-map series. But till then, y'all stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one.